wife broke down and screamed like a banshee after I packed up my stuff and left her. Alright. So, as far as things went, it all began rolling downhill in July of 2020. June was great. We had gone to a little getaway with our son and his friend. They hung out, we had fun together, and sex was good. July came around and we were having issues. Spats over stupid little things, her not interested in intimacy, I'd be interested in her day, but her showing no interest in me, extended times in the bathroom as well as baths all of the damn time, and yet she wants to complain that we don't spend time together. July passes like this. August gets more strained and she even tries to act like things are alright. Shows me lingerie, says it's going to be for my birthday. Birthday comes around, she buys me a couple of records but nothing. I had a long day at work, she did too, supposedly, and we just ended up cooking and chilling together. I figure it's a weekday, it's whatever. She offers sex but doesn't really seem there. Eventually in September we had a few big fights, one of which she asked to have some time to herself. I thought this was suspect, and I was crazy distraught as I felt our marriage was crumbling. I was right. I took the dogs and left to stay with my brother and family for the night. The next day I came home in the afternoon. She had said she wanted to go out with her friends before I got there, and I never stopped her from being with her friends. I got home around 12. She got home at 6-ish. I saw her, told her I was happy to see her. She mumbles. The month was terrible, and that week was especially so. She's not kissing me, she's rude and snide and straight up cruel. I'm asking her to talk to me, to tell me what's going on. I notice things aren't right, and I want us to be okay. An acquaintance, now a really good friend, sees me at work and shows concern. I explain to him how I love my wife. We've been together 8.5 years and 1.5 married at this point, and I don't know what to do. He recommended marriage counseling, and says he's been through something like this. Suggest I get the 5 love languages and another I can't think of ATM. I read up immediately. I came to the realization that I had been prioritizing my work, own my own business with my brother, because we've been overloaded since COVID and business has been booming, but nonetheless I never stopped trying to love or be intimate, in conversations and physically, but she had dropped off. The very same day I come home, she's sick and I take care of her. The next morning as she's getting ready I calmly and lovingly ask if we could talk a bit before she leaves. I told her everything I learned from the book. I read the whole damn thing the night before, and that I had felt I had been inattentive, and that I loved her, and that we should go to marriage counseling and try to fix what we have because we love each other, and we have our son. Something I said must have triggered something in her because she broke down crying and began to repeat that I was going to hate her. Eventually, after telling her to just be honest with me, she admitted that she cheated on me the past weekend when she said she was going to be with her friends. I was in shock, blown away, but I loved my wife, I loved my marriage, I loved my son, so like a fool I told her that it was okay, that I could forgive her, but she had to completely come clean about all of it. She then clammed up. No names, no info, just that she had been talking to AP since July, and had carried on an emotional affair until that day in September. How can I believe her? I don't. I tell her she's made a joke of our marriage, our vows. This was on a Thursday. I tried to have a discussion with her that night, but she refused and gave little. Says she never agreed to talk about things, but that she told AP that she had told me about them. Friday rolls around and it's the same. I'm dry heaving, hadn't slept, felt crappy, angry, destroyed inside. Eventually Saturday comes and my brother, seeing the wreck that I am, tells me to go stay home and handle what's going on. She gets up, goes works out, and all the while I'm a wreck. I call my father, who has been the cheater in his marriage, but my mother and him worked it out, and have had a fantastic marriage for 38 years now, and ask for his advice. He tells me it's not a mistake, she knew exactly what she was doing, and she needs to make a choice, and if she doesn't, then that tells you everything you need to know. I get myself together because I am a wreck. I clean the house and make sure my son is all taken care of. Then I go down to our apartment gym and tell her that she needs to come and talk to me once she's done. Half an hour later she comes up, and I calmly tell her that she needs to choose our family and our marriage or AP. I don't know is all I get, and she asks for a little time. I agree on the basis that she doesn't contact him or see him. She agrees and goes running for 2 hours. I can see where she is on an app. She comes back, finally notices that I had cleaned the apartment and cries. I ask her what she shows us, again it's a slew of I don't knows. I press, and she says it's over. I say okay, and though I'm crying, I grab a duffel bag and fill it with some clothing, and she's crying because I'm actually leaving. I kiss my son, tell him that I'm going to stay at his uncle's for a little, and he's distracted by video games, and he's okay. I tell her I'll be back in the morning for the rest of my stuff and I bail. The next morning, I get there at like 6, and I immediately grab garbage bags and walk into our bedroom, into the bathroom/closet, and start loading everything that is mine into them. She sits up in bed with tears and is just watching me. Asked what I'm doing, and I told her that she had made her decision, and it started sobbing. My heart is broken, but it's also wanting my wife. Again, like a fool, I get into bed with her and hold her and kiss her for half an hour. I tell her it doesn't have to be this way, but she has to come clean. Silence. So I'm furious and I yell at her that all of this was for nothing. I bag my crap up, tell her that my father and brother are at the cafe 5 minutes away waiting for my call to come and help me get the heavy stuff. By this time it's 11 in the morning. And I had bagged everything. She asks what we will tell our son. We go and wake him up and give him a sham of an excuse about communication breaking down. She says she doesn't want to see my family, don't blame her because she's ashamed. She takes her son to go shopping, and I can tell he's a little messed up and confused. I call my dad and brother, and they come. We grab my 3 TVs, all the electronics that I had gotten to make our place smart. Of course I left my son all his cool stuff. I love him and none of this is his fault. And before I leave, she texts me not to go and to wait for her and our son. I wait, the place looks like it's been robbed, and she walks in. She tells me not to go. Also that our son knocked over a display in anger, and says he wishes we could still be a family. I give her a face that says nothing good, and then I tell her that of course he does and it's what I want, but what the hell does she want? Again, I don't know. I say that there isn't a point for me to stay. I made her tell her parents because they would be furious if they had to find out from our son. The week coming is the first week of October. I try to keep our son on a schedule. I show up for him to take him to school and make him breakfast, but I'm also taking him to his grandparents' house some morning when I have to show up early at work. They ask what's going on, I dump everything on them. I tell them I want us to fix things, but she is sticking to her dumb I don't knows. Her dad is angry and sad for me since we've come to love and respect each other. She's texting me about how she hates herself, and that she can't believe she did all this, all the while she's still talking to AP. Even goes to ask if we can get back together, and I tell her that she knows what she has to do if she wants me back. I picked up my son from practice during that week and brought him home. He wants to show me something and I agree because I love him, and we hang out for an hour in his room. I come out to the living room and she's a wreck. Asks me to sit down with her, and she gets close to me and wraps her arms around me. I almost give in and I stand up, and I say that I'm not doing this if she's still talking or having anything to do with this guy. She says she ended it, so I sit down and I hold her. We even kiss a little and I touch her, but then the phone rings a different ring, and I can tell she's panicking inside. She says he's been calling all day since she ended it. I look at her in the eyes and ask her to show me that she ended it. She starts crying and refuses. I told her again, if she wants me she knows what she has to do. Throughout the week I'm still coming back to take my son to school, and even making meals to put into the fridge for him. She's not doing laundry and I have to force myself not to do it for her, but I notice that my son's sheets are filthy, he stank from not showering, and I had to scold her because she's not taking care of him. That weekend her friends wanted to take her to the Ren Fair, and I'm floored by how she's playing all good. She asks if I can be there for our son just for a couple of hours. I say yes because I want time with him, but even I know that I'm not really ready for that. I agree anyway. I show up after work to pick him up from his friend's house and 4 other boys walk out and jump in my car. Apparently, it was a sleepover. I'm furious. Not at him, but at her. I call her, she answers and realizes that I'm going to leave if she doesn't get back. It takes 3 hours for her to get back, and she's acting all pissy about it. She has the gall to say that she shouldn't have to feel bad about celebrating her birthday with her friends, and I tell her that she should feel bad because of all the crap is going on. That she took advantage, and that this was never going to happen again. She cries and says, "What, am I only supposed to be a mother?" I don't even say anything to that, but god damn it, yes, you chose this before I even came into the picture. We talk a little more, and she even invites me to stay. Sleep in the same bed, and be together. I say no and I leave. My son seems sad. I keep going to and from even though it's draining me emotionally, and my bank account, because I now am staying 45 minutes away. Her parents only know what I've told them because she's dodging them too. It's the week of the 25th of October, my ex's birthday week, and it's been weird, and I'm shamefully doing the pick-me dance. It's Monday and I am sending sweet video messages, and she's being nonchalant about it all. I go in the morning to take care of our son, take him to school, and then I do what I do on her birthday week. I start with a small gift to begin working my way up. I dust off a photo of us three in a pumpkin patch when we first got together. It's a beautiful picture. I'm about to leave when I get this itch inside of me. I dunno what the hell provoked me, but I started snooping. I found a new shoebox, opened it, and there's a new vibrator, new and new. I threw all of our toys out when I left. She even kept the packaging, and the postmarks were dated the following day that I had left, and they even had a gift message with the prick's name. And then I noticed a letter inside this shoebox, and it was from a woman, but with the same last name of a piece other gift message. I open it and see a photo of a family. 2 little boys, an infant, a dog, and a man and a woman. Along with it is a letter telling my ex that she had ruined her marriage, and that she could keep AP, and that she had found out because of the toys he had sent her. I took photos and went straight to her parents and explained what I had found out. Her dad gave me the same advice that you all gave me. Get a lawyer, get all my ducks in a row, and then file. I did that very day. I gave her the paperwork when it arrived a few days later, and for months we sat on it. Soccer games, a few intimate nights, I wouldn't dare have sex with her though it was there. Eventually it came to one soccer game where she saw I wasn't exactly at my best, and I prodded until she told me if she was dating, and she said she was. I turned in all the paperwork that week. I believe we're caught up. We have reached the end of the story. Let's listen to some of the comments by our Reddit listeners. Comment 1. Your wife was never really into the marriage. My personal thought on all of this is she simply isn't marriage material at this point. Maybe someday she will grow up and become such a person, but for now she simply isn't fit to be a parent or a spouse. However, and this is important, it's not your concern. At least the marriage/relationship part. You do need to keep an eye on her co-parenting skills. It appears she is not up to the task. You may eventually find she is dumping your kid off with whoever will take him while she has her fun. She also may bring in a series of new friends around your son. None of that is acceptable. OP reply. Thankfully she's been smart enough to not bring random dudes around my son. He knows that it isn't right, and that she ducked up. She does dump him off at her parents from time to time. She just got back from a week in Italy, my son tells me. She also has been dumping him off at his friends' places, which he's all good with being a teen and all. Rarely wants to hang out with me, but we catch time together here and there. In our agreement we stated that my involvement would be up to him, and whether he wanted to have me around or be around me. I didn't get to adopt him, and wasn't going to take the bait to get latched down by her in any financial or otherwise way when she offered it after she cheated. Whatever he needs he can tell me and I'll be there. It's worked pretty well so far. I'm trying my best to move on. Dating has been hit and miss so far, but I've been traveling, working out, and having a fair amount of good times. Still grieving that life I wanted, specifically how much I miss my son and seeing him grow. It's a difficult thing having a relationship over the phone, through video games, and the occasional lunch. Comment 2. So she went to Italy with the married guy. So I guess the married guy divorced his wife also. Did you ever reach out to the OBS? I think I would have had to show her I found that note and picture. Then I would have asked if she was proud of herself. I read your whole post. It was the end of the post where I realized the boy was a teenager. So the whole time he knew what was going on. It sounds like your son does not care what the wife did to you. OP reply. No, thankfully my son didn't know anything about what happened until I told him when the divorce took place. After it was finalized, I told him he could have the truth, or accept the glossing over. He opted for the truth, and he was pretty messed up for a little while about losing his dad, let alone how it strained things for him and his mom. These days he's a lot more vocal about his fears that we won't continue to be in contact, and it's made me happy to hear that all of this is on his mind. He tried to apologize for her, and I had to super nip that in the bud. AP and her stopped seeing each other, as far as I know, back last NOV, but who really knows? Don't really care at this point. As for her trip to Italy, my son says she went with her best girlfriend, but I think that's kind of doubtful since her best girlfriend was posting pics here in town social media with her new baby girl that she just had. Just felt bad for him being dumped on his grandparents. I didn't reach out to the OBS. I couldn't quite get in contact. I did ask her about the whole pic and letter and rubbed her nose in it when it was all fresh. Even gave a copy of all the stuff to her parents, who were clearly entirely devastated as well when I gave them all of it. My fiance tried to help AP with her mouth cause he was broken, and she got anxious when I said we're divorcing. So I'm not sure what I'm looking for by posting here. Maybe just trying to write out the entire situation, but if anyone has anything helpful to say, I would appreciate that too. So I discovered that my wife of nearly 3 years was having sex with a co-worker, also married, regularly for about 3 to 4 weeks. We moved away from family after marrying, and do not have friends in the area. In the lead up to this, I was playing video games too much and not giving her enough attention. Our sex life was healthy, but I didn't realize she was falling into depression. The depression became severe, but she didn't know it. Looking back, I know she was in a very bad state, and he came in and gave her attention and emotional support in the aftermath of a death in her family, then took advantage of the situation. She claims that he said he needed sex, and she felt if she didn't go with it, she wouldn't even have his support. She claims that everything she said to him and did with him was to try to make herself feel better, or to make sure she would continue to get the support and connection she felt she needed. And that she never wanted a life without me. She has given me all of the details, and I am pretty confident in that. Some specifics are extremely dark and horrific, but she was willing to tell them. 2 weeks before finding out about the sex she had, I saw him call her, and I questioned her. She said they were in an emotional relationship, they were already having sex regularly by then. We went to a marital therapy session between them and learned about the physical aspect. I stopped playing video games and spent every moment I could with her. While I was making this effort, she continued to have sex with him on her lunch break. I found out about the physical side when the AP's wife contacted me and had text messages that were clear about what was happening. My initial reaction was to want divorce right away, but I didn't sign paperwork at that time. The next day she expressed that she would do anything to try to fix our marriage. We had a therapy session that day in which she claimed to already cut communication with the AP and has no interest in a relationship with him, regardless of whether I want to stay married or not. It has been 5 days. Until yesterday I couldn't sleep or eat properly. We have talked every day. I sleep separately from her, in a different room. Yesterday was the first time I felt that I could even consider reconciliation. I made a list of things I wanted in life, no major life changes, but just things I want to do and feel, and she said that she was on board with the list. I have not committed to trying to reconcile, but I asked her to read How to Help Your Spouse Heal from an Affair. She claims she would rather pass away than get to the point she was at during the affair. She is willing to sign an agreement to relinquish marital property in the event of another affair. Some details are horrible, and I would rather not post them, but may be willing to PM if you feel they are necessary to give good feedback. If you read this wall of text, thank you.